Hello and welcome to the No One Asked You podcast. For this particular series, I am joined by my wonderful co-host, that darn Kitty.
Dorkus and I are both going into the story completely new with almost no knowledge of the story or world. Each segment will cover what happens in each new chapter while discussing our experience along the way.
This is The Hero of Ages. It's all in the pages, a blind read-through. And today we are covering Chapter 31.
Chapter 31.
What a chapter.
Sazed irritated me.
He irritated me too. Oh, I'm gonna go on such a rant.
Good, I'm ready for it. I need the catharsis, okay?
Excellent. No, I was in my room ranting to the imaginary you as I prep all of my points for these sessions.
Yes. I was thinking, like, I hope Dorkus is as irritated.
I bet I know what you're referring to, too.
It's most of it is what I'm referring to, but closer to the end is fine, obviously.
Interesting.
Yeah, but either way, irritated.
Yeah. We do get another brick in the, when it's all put together, it will contribute to Sazed being pulled out of his depression.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had the flower with Vin. Now we have that line from Spook.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's starting to go get through to him.
And we've got an epigraph that seems extremely poignant considering discussions we had in the last chapter.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, thank you for that confirmation. Mm-hmm. Not that it knows, but still, yeah.
Sure. Is there anything overall topic you want to cover before we get into it?
I don't think so. Oh, well, there's, just frustrating. Yeah, nothing new.
Yeah. Well, then on the topic of the epigraph, turns out that Reshek's black and white outfit, which we called out way back in the first Mistborn Abridged series, was in fact intended to display a combination, a unity, a duality, as the epigraph says, of preservation and ruin. And
we identified the preservation and ruin in Vin and Elend last episode.
Which it seems it came about more naturally with them.
Mm-hmm.
Like they don't even realize they've done it.
Thing. Yeah, like Elend is wearing white because it stands out and all of that stuff. It's not that they went, I am preservation, I need to wear this. It seems what we're hearing here is that he probably dressed that way for that deliberate reason, whereas, the other two, like you said, naturally just came to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think maybe it's in the epigraph because it's like, in case you guys didn't notice, the black and white thing. Just a reminder, the black and white thing. In the next chapter. It was pretty good.
Right. But then there's another really interesting thing about this epigraph, which is when the writer claims that Reshek only ever touched or had touched only one of the powers and in a very small way. So I think it has essentially been confirmed at this point that using the power of the well is using preservation's power. Because I think it has said that the well power was that of preservation at one point, and that it would need to refill the well or something like that, yeah?
Yeah. And we had this discussion last episode about it being the mist being preservation, whereas that black smoke being ruin. The black smoke was ruin because that was where ruin was imprisoned, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. Here's sort of the thing. It's like, I guess Reshek must have touched and used preservation's power. It doesn't specify he used preservation's power here, but that's kind of the only thing I can think.
Yeah. It's the only power he used because he's only used one power.
Right. And yet he was able to utilize hemalurgy, which we are presuming is ruinous in nature.
Yeah.
So it's like, how did he only use one? It is not clear in this epigraph that he's referring to the moment that Reshek is in the well versus after the fact. But I feel like this is saying the whole thing. But, and we'll get into this element of the discussion, I think, a little bit later, in the message that the Lord Ruler left, it suggests that Ruin was talking to Reshek in the way that we know it talks to Zane. Part of that could be that he had the piercings of the Terracemen, except that we know that the Terrace aren't killed by the mist. Killing people, yes, but also killed by the mist, which we presume is preservation.
Yeah, and also nobody is being killed to pierce that person. So with our Vin idea, it's that her sister died and this earring occurred, which could cause ruin. It would be, hemalurgy. That doesn't make us think that she is, what do you call it? She is an inquisitor. It's just that she's got something. There's something there of hemalurgy. But then again, he himself did not have hemalurgy. He used it, so it's like having a tool available to you. And maybe he figured out hemalurgy because of Ruin anyway. And then he realized, oh, damn, that's pretty crazy.
Interesting. More to think on.
Because he didn't touch it. He didn't touch Ruin. He just used a Ruin weapon.
Yeah, by all accounts, he feared Ruin.
Yeah, and obviously Ruin touched him in terms of speaking to him. But yeah that's as far as it went. Yeah. We'll get into the discussion I want to have just now.
Just now? Let's do it.
No, just now, as in a couple pages.
Okay, then. We reconvene with a meeting of Sazed, Breeze, Spook, and Alrion.
Yep. It's been a couple days? 3 days?
3 days.
Not a couple.
They've moved pretty much everyone, the soldiers, I think, into the cache. Sazed's appreciating how long it must have taken to design the cache, the ability to get all of the water there. And he even thinks at one point that this water is untouched by ash. In a way, it's unique water, which was a pretty cool flavor there for me.
Yeah, that's amazing, yeah. They're going to have to live underground somehow. Anyway, maybe that was the plan, but yeah, it really helps to have pure water.
Yeah.
It's probably purer than they have ever experienced themselves.
Yeah. They've set up partitions in one of the rooms so that everyone can have different rooms, and they've got a contingent of soldiers hanging out in the actual building to make it appear lived in. Yeah.
And they got furniture and all of that. We need that happening, okay? We can't have like this is not, Mary Poppins' bag where we look like we've got a whole bunch of people at least. Yeah. They've got to try and make it look like there's people coming in and out, and just discreet. I'm very worried about them being attacked in there.
I'm not terribly worried, at least in the immediate. Like, I don't think today or tomorrow. Maybe down the line, once they start taking actions against the citizen, yes. But for now, no.
Yeah. I hope by the time that there is, more citizen attention towards them, that they have found an exit of sorts at least.
Yeah.
So that it's not just one entrance.
So they're talking a bit more about how it was set up, which is cool.
That's a lot of effort.
Spook says that the Lord Ruler was looking toward the future, and Sazed notes that he has refused all questions regarding his daredevil mask.
Yeah, cast them aside. But Sazed does think it's probably got to do with Tin.
Yeah, so he's clearly smart enough to put 2 and 2 together. It's interesting to me that he doesn't think of the term savant. And it could be that, I guess you could say the term savant is something that came about post all of this, but Kelsier in book 1 freely said weird things happen to people who flare their metals too much. So the option to flare and it having side effects shouldn't be out of the realm of considerability on Sazed's part, in my opinion.
Yes, I was a little confused at that. Why don't we just go all the way to Savant? Like, I could see him dismissing the idea. Like, ugh, no.
Like, surely
That's
Spook
not
would
it.
be smarter than that.
Yes, exactly. Say something like that, but bring up the idea of Savant, because I don't feel like this is the first Savant to exist. We
Yeah.
didn't create the term for Spook.
Right.
Yeah.
And Sazed is smart and a bit worldly, so I don't think it's unreasonable. Breeze might not know, but
Yeah.
I feel like Sazed could consider it at some point, at least.
Yeah. But if he cared to, maybe we can cut him a bit of slack, because he just doesn't care. He's not curious enough. He's just like, oh, I guess it's something to do with that. Anyway, I'm just going to be stuck in my depression.
Yeah. As they are continuing to discuss the underground river, Sazed asserts that the Lord Ruler wasn't worried about the financial costs or potential ruin it could mean to divert a river in such a way.
Because the stakes were that high. That tells us the stakes are that high, that he doesn't care how it's going to affect a city. And he's like, yeah, sure, they'll recover. The city will continue in whatever way it needs to, but this needs to happen.
Yeah. At the end of the day, the conversation, I guess it really doesn't matter anymore what the Lord Ruler wanted or how he managed to accomplish such a feat. Alrion is like, let's get on point. What does that matter when we have a maniac in the city to deal with?
Yeah, it's like, nicely done. Okay, cool. We've got the water. We're wasting time here.
Yep. And everyone looks to Sazed, and depressed Sazed, he's all like, ugh, I guess I'm in charge. Unfortunate.
Yeah, that's just the way it is. Like, yes, Sazed, you're gonna have to embrace that. Come on. It's not by accident that you're in charge. There's actually value in you.
Mm-hmm. Spook argues that they need to assassinate him. The citizen, not Sazed.
Yeah. Okay, bloodthirsty Spook. He's daredeviling, wants to go in there and daredevil, which I'm thinking he might anyway.
Yes.
At some point. Because he really wants to. He brings this idea up twice. Because we get the argument against it.
Which are strong, I think.
Yes. But then it's not given, that argument against is not given to him again.
Right. I want to ask your opinion on the two possible motivations that I can think of for Spook wanting to go to assassination. One is, I want to be like Kelsier. The other is, I feel for the people of this city. The citizen is really, really bad. I feel like it leans more toward the, I want to be like Kelsier of it.
Yes, in terms of, if we're looking at him, the flawed character that he is, it's, I want to be like Kelsier, I want to be relevant, I want to be active, and yes, of course, I help people it's a secondary thing, I help the people of the city. But the people of the city needing my help is so cool, is where he's at. And I think, yeah, Beldre is also part of that. Oh, I need to save Beldre. Yeah, I get the girl. So I become like Kelsier, I get the girl, and everybody loves me because I saved them.
Yeah.
I don't doubt that there is goodness in him, and he does genuinely want people to be better. But considering he's still on a journey of growth, he's not quite mature enough to go beyond, I just want to be like Kelsier right now and leave that behind. Like he just doesn't, he sticks to it. So that is the next thing, the argument against that.
Yeah, so then Breeze goes into, the Lord Ruler was a singular figure. He was irreplaceable because he was a god, and killing him affected the world and their psyche. And then Alrion pipes up to bolster the argument that the citizen is just a guy and men can be replaced. So any number of wannabe tyrants will take his place if he's killed.
Yeah. The Lord Ruler is more than just a man, literally, like physically, he was more. But then because of the empire that he built and the way he built it, he is a god. You've killed their god. And you did have people that were trying to replace him afterwards anyway, but they couldn't replace him properly. Yeah, so killing him, it's like, oh, he's the big bad. And then if we defeat the baddie, it's kind of, it's simple thinking on Spook's part. Like, oh, we just defeat the baddie, it'll be fine. It's like, you got to understand there's an ideology here as well.
Yeah. As we're recording this, the second episode of season 2 of Fallout has aired.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been re-enjoying a bunch of lore videos about New Vegas. One of the whole big things about Caesar's Legion and siding with Caesar is essentially once he dies, the Legion will break apart into various factions of their own and sort of dissipate because he is such a force of personality that he can bind them all, but he's not necessarily building anything sustainable. Anyway, I was going to try and bring the Caesar's Legion idea back around to it pertaining to this specific example, but I suppose on a meta level, depending on the argumentation, Sanderson writing this could have gone into two different opposite directions when contemplating how to handle the citizen situation, which is neat to contemplate. He's going for the city is a machine, the ideology is a machine that will persist, which is on point for Sanderson because I think one of the big things in this universe, citing the Cabsal lecture, is that people in this universe need to choose good. They need to reject evil.
Yeah, they need that. That is what we want, the whole choosing discussion.
Yeah, so he decided to go the way of assassinating Quellion won't work because another person will take his place.
Yeah, and we're not going to just be in the business of killing every single person that takes his place.
Right. So then Breeze makes his case that what they have to do is prove that the system itself is faulty, that the ideology itself is faulty. And if they can do that, then it doesn't matter who replaces him. The system is what's messed up, not the people.
Yeah, the people do not trust the system anymore.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many ways that we can go after this. Like, I'm thinking of, hello, hey, Spook, just think about it, showing that he is a hypocrite about allomancers. That would help. You know, those sort of things. Just think about it. But he's just so gung-ho, oh, must kill him, you know, kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. Sazed argues, perhaps given more time, we will be able to work with this man. And I read that, and I had a bit of an odd moment in which, wasn't it Breeze that was being the optimistic, I've dealt with people like him before, he'll come around eventually. And it was Sazed saying, I'm not so sure. He seems harder than normal. Or average.
Well, yeah, Sazed's just going along with whims as well. He's not solid and principled and thinking. He's just, right now, he wants to feel, he doesn't want to do anything right now. So, you know what? Disagreeing with Breeze and saying that, you know, he'll come around, we can work with him, it's easier than doing all that work of overthrowing him.
Yeah, that's true. It could just be Sazed being depressed and afraid to make any status quo changing idea.
Any big moves. Yeah.
Spook is appalled by this idea. He thinks 3 days in the city should have been enough to show how awful Quellion is.
Which I'm okay with that. I'm in agreement. Like, Sazed, really? Come on now.
Yeah, you were so right, Kitty. There is so much wrong with Sazed in this chapter.
Yeah, it's. I understand where he's coming from, but it's irritating, okay? That's what I mean. It's just, you're like, oh, really, Sazed?
Yeah.
Oh, no, we can work with him. Okay, fine. So you could accept, okay, we can work with him because maybe you're scared. Fine, I can let that go. But then what comes afterwards? I'm just like, okay.
Right? Sazed says that he can't necessarily fault the citizens' views. And I had an inkling where the rest of this conversation might go, and it's like 3 lines later that I want to talk in depth about. So I'll just quickly say, all the air is sucked out of the room because the cavern falls silent, and Breeze, appropriately, as I imagine it with a little bit of tension to his voice, hopefully, asks Sazed to explain himself. And Sazed says, "The things that the citizen says are not false. We cannot blame him for teaching the very same things that Kelsier did. The survivor spoke of killing the nobility. Goodness knows we all saw him engaging in that activity often enough. He spoke of revolution and of Scar ruling themselves."
Yeah, okay. That's one thing. Sazed, but this is another. Not entirely another, but this has taken it way too far. And the way in which it is done is not good, Sazed. So just because at the heart of it, logically it makes sense, we can't blame them, it's still bad. I'm so sorry, sweet summer child. It's still bad.
Yeah. So my big problem is with the sentence, "The things he says are not false." You and I spoke at great length in the last episode that took place in Sazed's POV about Sazed not calling out the egregious misrepresentation of the Elend-Set-Straff conflict, right?
Yeah, you were very upset about that.
I really was, and still am, because that is such a falsehood, such a misrepresentation. Elend didn't seek out conflict. It was forced upon him. The fact that he won, the fact that he was successful, is not something that should be condemned. Like, God forbid anyone win anything. God forbid anyone be successful or effective at anything.
Exactly.
Yeah, so...
Which is what I'm getting from him, this God forbid stuff where it's just, oh no, not God forbid, because we have no gods, remember. But it's this thing of just not finding anything good enough. Everything is bad. Everything is hypocritical. What is the point? It's the true depth of this depression. And that's not to say that we don't have compassion for it. It's just irritating, okay? The way that it has plagued his mind.
Right.
It's great that it irritates us.
So here's the thing. This tacitly accepts the premise that Quellion put forth as true, that Elend is a tyrant because he won in Book 2. And that was such a disingenuous, incorrect perception of those events that it bothers me that we are supposed to believe that Sazed can perceive that in any way as being true. And I don't know if this is an issue with Sazed or an issue possibly with Sanderson's writing style. He has a very accessible way of writing. He frequently has characters, I guess you could say tell don't showing the circumstances or the situation or the premises as they are at various points in the book. Does that make sense? Would you know what I'm referring to?
Yeah, I'm agreeing.
Yeah. So sometimes, and I wish I could remember specific examples from previous episodes that you and I have recorded, but sometimes a character will express a situation or a premise or a status quo from a previous event and will be like, is that really how that happened? Did that really happen? And I think a lot of the time it's Sanderson wanting us to accept this interpretation as true. I don't think it is always a George R.R. Martin style this character forgot the specifics of what happened before, or there was something lost in translation between two characters, or someone is misrepresenting to give a phony impression type thing. A lot more times with Sanderson, a framing of a past event feels to me as if it's Sanderson saying this is what happened, or how we are supposed to interpret what happened. Yes, I think we are all supposed to agree that violence bad and violent revolution bad, but that all falls apart when the framing is so egregiously incorrect, as with the Quellian misrepresentation, that even Sanderson trying to say, I understand this viewpoint, this is how someone could reasonably come to believe these things, even if the belief itself is unreasonable. You know what? I've lost my place and rambled on so far on this point. Kitty,
Well,
take what I've said.
so my response to that is yes, I think there are occurrences in his writing where it seems like this is Sanderson giving us an interpretation he wants us to hold. It's the interpretation you should hold going forward. Maybe not as the reader, but just to keep in mind that this is how the character sees it, and maybe you should see it the way that they do. I definitely see versions of that. I can't point them out right now, but I remember having that discussion. But in this case, I really do think it is a character thing. It is a character interpreting it's Sanderson showing the character has changed. The character is in such a negative spiral that they will question their friend's integrity. They will question the goodness of the things that they've done in the past. Absolutely everything is wrong to Sazed. So that's what I'm taking from this interpretation and this view of things. That is why it can be so changing, so easily changeable, where 1 minute he's saying, I don't think this guy is going to deal with us, and then just being contradictory in the next POV, no, actually I think we could work with him, because he's just so down and so exhausted that he just does not want to do anything in particular. That's what I'm taking from this, more than this is how we should interpret it. This is how the character is seeing it now.
Sure. Understood. I'm just salty that no one sought to correct the egregious lie.
Yeah. So maybe it's because the other two were being subtle. So Alrion and Breeze were being too subtle. They don't want to get into arguments. That would be unbecoming, to argue with the guy. But Sazed, I suppose he had a bit of an attempt. A couple times he was interrupted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he did not challenge the argument, but it makes sense why he wouldn't. He's very willing to accept that everything is horrible and all the things he believed in were once good are now bad and not worth it.
Well said.
So what's next?
Then Breeze says that this is too far for even Kelsier. The things he did were born of a specific situation, and it was necessary to motivate people under that situation.
Which is exactly the point.
Yeah.
Yeah. He would not approve of this. So this goodness reminder of what Kelsier really was about. Breeze can hold it. Sazed cannot.
Yeah. And at the mention of Kelsier, I start wondering, is he there? Is Spook listening to Kelsier in that moment? Is Kelsier talking to Spook?
Yes. What is Kelsier saying?
Mm-hmm.
Kelsier, bunny ears.
Yes, bunny ears Kelsier. Sazed continues to argue how it's reasonable that these people came to believe as they do and did as they did. Understanding does not necessarily equal approval, but
exactly.
Yeah, but Sazed here is using understanding as an excuse not to do what it is that he's supposed to do, which is to bring them under Ellen's control.
Yeah. It's kind of like he's questioning the point of doing any of this?
Mm-hmm.
When you're questioning that, it's like, okay, I understand. Yes, Sazed, use the understanding. How did they come to this conclusion? All of that. And I know that we're supposed to be frustrated with Sazed. So it's not, so me voicing my frustration about him is not me criticizing the book itself. It's me being frustrated with the character because you want more from him.
Sure. Spook says that he believes Kelsier wanted people to be free and happy. And I believe that. I do believe that. I wonder where the get revenge of bunny ears Kelsier. I want to see artwork of Kelsier with bunny ears now. Comes down on this.
Yeah, again, you wonder what is bunny ears Kelsier saying in Spook's head when, because he can hear, he can't hear Spook's thoughts, but he can hear what everybody else is saying.
Yeah. Breeze notes that they chose Elend and the Empire needs the resources, so they have to do what they have to do, regardless.
Yeah, that's what we're doing here. Welcome.
Yep. So Sazed asks what they should do because he agrees Kelsier wouldn't approve of Quellion. Breeze says, we just need more time to get the lay of the land.
Which is fine, yeah. But they need to ask Spook questions because he's got the lay of the land.
Exactly. And I was expecting the conversation to go that way.
Yes, I was expecting, okay, like a kind of like, here is the blueprint kind of discussion.
Mm-hmm. Would have been neat if Spook pulled out a chalkboard and he's like, okay, we're going to break it down into these reasonable chunks.
Exactly.
But Spook again says, why can't we just topple the citizen?
Again, I'm like, what? No, Spook. And he also, the way he says it is as if he hasn't heard anything of the arguments. I suppose he's got just Run in his head going, no, we must kill the citizen. We must get revenge. So that's why he brings it up again. But nobody says, no, Spook, we just spoke about that. We just said why. Like, why are you suggesting that again? That's silly. But everyone's just continues. Like, no, we can't do that.
Right.
Maybe we'll do it later.
Right. I don't know how much of it is bunny ears Kelsier, but I definitely think it's Spook wanting to be like Kelsier.
Yeah. He wants what, if Ruin is saying that to him, it's what he wants anyway. That's why he will vocalize it.
Yeah.
There's no struggle.
Yeah. But Breeze says, even if we wanted to, we don't have Kelsier anymore, so we really can't. Oh. Which was
that hit.
Kind of a blow. Yeah, it hit too. It hit me too. We get some prose about Kelsier's flaw of overwhelming hatred for the nobility.
Yes, good, Sazed. Okay, yes, that's fine. It was one of his flaws. That doesn't mean that now we lean in and we hate Kelsier and we abandon everything. It means Kelsier actually, he was quite extreme at one point, but let's look at what was frustrating here is that he doesn't mention at the end how it was. Doesn't mention that maybe, I mean, he should know by now Elend was saved or wasn't killed, something by Kelsier, something like that. I'm sure they've had these conversations before in the 3 years, if it's my book, or 4 years, if it's my book, that they've been together.
Yeah. The group disperses at this point.
It just goes off in their own directions, yeah?
Yep. Breeze gives a wink and tries to soothe him, but it doesn't do much for Sazed because he's got a storm raging inside of him.
There is a tempest in me!
He knows it's dangerous to him and to the crew. He feels apathy.
Yes, we know this. There's much apathy in our dear Sazed.
Yeah. And then he pulls out his cards and starts back on his religious work.
Back on his obsession. Because Sazed goes like, he knows. He is very aware that he is being emotional, but it's so powerful. It's so beyond him. He just cannot control it. And yes, there's a lot of sympathy from me to Sazed in that case. But that doesn't mean I'm not frustrated with the guy.
Right. But then we got one great big, lore drop? Question answered. We get one great big question answered that we had questioned, which is to say, he has already dismissed the Church of the Survivor as not being a true religion or a proof religion.
Yeah. And he has, I don't know, I don't think he's really, because he was there, because he knows Calcia is not a god, but it's like there are tenets in there about hope and survival that you could think about. So I'm thinking we're going to go back to that in some way at some point. We're going to go back to the Church of the Survivor, the principles within it. But right now, yeah, dismissed.
Yeah. So then what? There are 3, 2.5 possible endings to Sazed's arc. 3.5. One, he's the hero of ages, therefore he is God, or something to that effect. He goes into the Well of Ascension and gains the true knowledge of godhood. 2, he joins the Church of the Survivor at the end. 3, atheist, hopeless Sazed. And 3.5, which is, shoot, it's gone from my mind. Darn. Curse you, ADHD brain.
The Well of Ascension is not going to fill up anytime soon, though. So we know that number 1 isn't going to happen. But Hero of Ages could mean more than just going to the Well of Ascension. Maybe there's some way that you can tap into preservation without having to go to the well.
Mm-hmm.
Or have the well filled up.
Yes. Okay, so you're ruling out...
I'm altering number 1.
Okay. And you think that that's where it's going to end?
If we're going with more or less, let's say that.
Oh, I remember the half. I think one of those earlier 3 was the half. The other one was he believes in all of the religions again.
Yeah, that would be nice. Because that actually made more sense. That there is some, it's like it was agnostic kind of thing. It was believing in all, each religion can give you something, or cultural belief, where it's, I can learn things from all of these religions in my life because life is worth living, life is about living, and religions enrich your life and your inner world. But yeah, he's far from that anyway.
Yeah. Then he makes his way over to the Lord Ruler's engraving.
Yes, I was hoping for some extra reveal, some extra mystery unlocked, but not much.
Yeah.
Just a bit more sympathetic Lord Ruler is what I heard, yeah.
The big thing that I tapped into, the big whoa moment I had was, it has proven far more clever than I had assumed, infecting my thoughts, making me see and feel things I do not wish to. It is so subtle, so careful. I cannot see how it could cause my death, but still I worry. That was the big thing. So Ruin speaks to him in the way we presume Ruin speaks to Vin, in the way we presume that it spoke to Zane. And there's this idea of how does that conflict with the epigraph of this chapter, where I think we both more or less concluded using the power of the well is to use preservation's power. And we know that he only ever touched one of the powers.
But
again, the only thing I can think of that would allow Ruin to speak to him is that it is therefore through the Terrace piercings. But we know that the Terrace aren't picked off by the mist, which we presume is preservation.
So?
I don't know.
Yeah. We know that. Can you read that line again of it invading his thoughts? Does that mean it is, I'm just trying to do some devil's avocado here, where it's like, is there a way in which he's just saying, oh, I think about it a lot, but it really does seem, it's too direct. It is saying it's in his mind. It invades, and it's subtle, and it's, so I wonder, yes, we've got this idea of how this was created many years ago. How much of what the Lord Ruler was doing in Vin and Calcia's time was ruinous of Ruin? Had he gone mad towards the end?
I don't know. I think he was able to catch Ruin most times, at least.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we know it was ultimately external, Vin, that ended up getting the Lord Ruler, not himself. Now, maybe Ruin was able to subtly allow for the Lord Ruler to distract himself away from the threat that Kelsier posed and then Vin, or maybe Ruin, again, was trying to subtly influence the Inquisitors more so than the Lord Ruler himself. I'm not sure. Oh, the other thing is we do get that he intended to take the power again once it refilled. I want to know if he knew the power was refilling, because we knew Vin was sensing it. And it's like, can you take the power more than once if you happen to live long enough?
Well, I'm sure he was gonna try anyway.
Yeah.
So it's just that it wasn't ready yet.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to take it again, you want it to be as much as possible. So you're not going to take it early.
Yeah. True. Anyway, it goes on to tell about Electrum.
And at this point, I was like, geez, how did I forget that Vin did really come to this this cache? But yes, the criticism still holds of like, why didn't you tell us about the water?
Yeah.
And why didn't you tell the others or whatever? Maybe it was just Sazed forgetting, like me, but for worse reasons.
Right.
But yeah, like at this point, I was like, "Oh, duh!" But it was early on in the story, so forgive me, everybody.
I forgive you, Kitty.
Thank you.
Spook arrives, and Sazed feels a stab of empathy for him, thinking, "This one has troubles of his own." Which, good. I'm glad you know this. Offer a helping hand.
Yes, people need you, and commiserate as well. Even share.
Spook takes off the daredevil mask, and he's squinting, and he puts out one of the lanterns.
Because it's too bright and his eyes are watering. Yeah.
Yeah. Sazed concludes it is the tin then.
Yes, but we still don't get any savant stuff.
Right. And it's interesting that Sazed doesn't bring up the squintiness and the gloves and the suspected
Did you think,
ears.
Yeah, did you think, hey, because he does suspect even the earplugs. Like I was like, okay, is this the discussion where we notice that something's off?
I was hoping.
Yeah, but no. Actually, it's more for Sazed. So I'm happy with what happened, but still.
Yeah.
Couldn't we have both? Give us everything.
Yep. Spook says, I think Kelsier is still with us. This invokes in me the question, what is motivating this discussion? Because I don't think Spook is going to say, my motivation in bringing this up is this. But there are two sort of pathways that I tend to imagine. One being he himself is not sure what's happening with Kelsier talking to him, and he's hoping that Sazed will illuminate it in some way, shape, or form. The other is that Spook sees in Sazed, because we do know that Spook is a very perceptive individual, and considering Sazed's nihilistic perspectives on the citizen and the city and what Kelsier may or may not have wanted, he could be trying to invoke in Sazed some sense of hope. What do you think? But then I worry, maybe Spook is a little too self-centered to be going down that rabbit hole. So I kind of jump back to that first. It's about him trying to figure out the truth of the bunny ears Kelsier.
Yeah, he's trying to get some sort of signal from Sazed. For me, in my opinion, he is trying to get some sort of signal from Sazed to tell him, oh, yes, this is true. That's great. Get him, try and get a kind of feel of, would Sazed think I'm crazy if I said Kelsier was talking to me?
Yeah.
I don't think it's, again, it's this kind of like secondary thing where if I save the city, people will be better off. That's good. It's secondary, but it's all about him being more like Kelsier. So it's the same thing. If I talk about Kelsier still being around, and Sazed then encourages me, or Sazed is encouraged by that. That's just a secondary thing. It's not that he wouldn't want that, but it's not what he's looking for exactly.
Right. Spook says that he thinks Kelsier is still with us. He clarifies he doesn't mean alive, but he's watching over them.
Mm-hmm.
Sazed says, that's a pleasant sentiment, I think. But then he thinks to himself it's completely false. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. But he's not going to, at least he doesn't say it, you know? He's not trying to spread his misery.
Right. Spook pushes a little harder. He's like, no, I don't mean that metaphorically. I mean, he's here.
Mm.
And he asks about the religions. Like, has this ever happened before? Is there anything like this that you know of?
And it's like, yeah, well, all religions have some sort of, well, not all, but many have some sort of spirits live on thing. And of course, he's going to have a lot against those ones because they're not good enough for Sazed and Tindwell, essentially.
Yeah. So Spook doesn't say he's literally here, he's just here. So I imagine from Sazed's perspective, not that he has any pros with regard to the matter, might presume that he's just speaking as one who is a member of the Church of the Survivor might speak.
Yeah.
There's no reason for Sazed to think, oh, maybe he's schizophrenic and hearing Kelsier.
Yeah, there's no, and also Sazed has such limited curiosity and energy at this point that wouldn't really cross his mind anyway. He wouldn't even question that. The easiest answer is best at this point.
Yeah, and Spook, I think, is still a bit too tentative to really, really push it. He certainly more or less lets that part of the discussion be in just a moment. Sazed says that there are many religions that have elements of dead remaining as spirits. Spook waits to be preached to. Sazed doesn't, and Spook asks about it. I thought it was a cute exchange. I don't do that anymore, Sazed said quietly. Oh, why not? Tell me about the why not, Kitty. Is that a friend reaching out? Is there concern in there for Sazed, or is it?
I think there is some sort of concern. And there is kind of it's just curiosity as well. Doesn't have to be.
Spook's not a psychopath or a sociopath. He's gonna be concerned about his friend. But I do also think there's a drop of, I'm not going to get what I'm seeking out of this conversation element to it as well.
Yeah, so, but asking why is a pretty normal reaction. Even if you don't really care, it's just like, okay, well.
Yeah. I do think he does care. Let's remember that Spook is arguably one of the most perceptive folks in the group.
Yes.
It's just that he's never really the one who has much wisdom to share. Sazed explains that because none of the religions have offered him solace in his grief, he is finding it difficult to preach those religions. He's looking for the one that's true. And once he finds it, then he'll be able to preach. But until he does, he can't. He will not preach falsehoods. And I read that and I think to myself, this is probably the first time you have vocalized this to someone. And I'm really glad you did.
Yes, I was about to say, is this the first time? I do think it's the first time he's just been able to say, you know what, this is why, okay? He doesn't just avoid it. And Sazed does give us an explanation of, Sazed appreciates it himself, that, I didn't get any argument from Spook.
Yeah.
And that led to it feeling good.
Yeah. So Spook doesn't argue, and you know how much of that is he doesn't know what to say versus just being a good listener. Mix of both.
Yeah, I think he doesn't. Yeah, like he doesn't know what to say because he's a good listener. It's like, well, what are you supposed to, he heard that. He heard it. So what are you actually supposed to do with it? Rather just do nothing.
Right. So Sazed finds it frustrating when his friends argue with him on these topics, particularly when Well, I'll read the passage. Sazed had found it frustrating that his friends, people who for the most part were determined atheists, would grow so offended when he threatened to join them in their lack of belief. They may themselves not necessarily believe in religion, but I think they view Sazed as one who is supposed to be better than them, and they acknowledge the
Yeah.
importance of faith and hope.
Yes, they do. I understand the irony, but wouldn't it mean that actually they're looking for something, and they're looking for it from you, Sazed? They're atheists, but they're not out here trying to convince you to be an atheist. They're curious. They want to hear some things because they need hope.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that should teach him something.
Yeah.
I hope.
Spook says that it makes sense. Those religions aren't true, and that Kelsier is the one who's watching over them. So that's a pretty full of conviction statement there, that Kelsier is the one watching over them. So it does make me think he accepts that Bunny Ears Kelsier is Kelsier.
Full confirmation.
Yeah. In a way, I think Spook agreeing with Sazed helps Sazed. There is a certain logic to the depressed mindset. It's not just because it's logical doesn't necessarily make it true. Or, you may be cherry picking certain things or weighing some things more than they should be because of an emotional charge. But telling someone, no, you're wrong, I think tends to invite a combative response sometimes.
Yeah, it makes you feel unheard as well.
Mm-hmm.
There's absolutely no validation. Of course, we don't have Sazed actually vocalizing this idea the way he did to Spook, which would give the opportunity for validation. But even so, maybe he would have said what he said to Spook if there wasn't so much pushback. Even though the pushback is not that's, in your face, he's very sensitive at that right now. So, yeah, any pushback, any lack of just, okay, I hear you, is conflict to him.
Mm-hmm.
It's painful.
Yeah.
Everything is painful.
Yep. Sazed pushes back, saying that Kelsier wasn't a god. Spook responds with, the people of this city think he is. And Sazed goes on a tangent about what good is faith and belief if it's only brought oppression and violence. Well, Quellian's belief is a corruption of what the Church of the Survivor is supposed to be, which is hope and faith. And a big part of what Sazed's journey will come down to, I think, is belief. Belief in good things.
Yes. In spite of bad things.
Yeah.
It really made me think of, an edgy teenage atheist when he had that response, because it's like, oh, well, because all of the bad things. That religion didn't save those people. It's like, excuse me? So the world, if the world is not perfect, there's no reason to believe in anything good. Oh, okay. That's the way we're going to go about it. Like, I really felt pity for him and pity for somebody who sees the world in that manner.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you really need to look for something good, because you're not going to do very well in the world otherwise. If you're basically just embracing the bad, like you said at the top of this episode, you brought up the choosing good.
Mm-hmm.
It's also choosing hope, choosing belief, choosing to continue even though life is difficult.
Yeah.
You believe in something to live, guys.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be God, I suppose. It should be, but it doesn't have to be. You need a meaning in your life.
Yes. Choose to be good. Choose to do good. Put good out into the world. Oh, okay, look. I brought up Fallout earlier. The opening scene in episode 2 of season 2 is a very emotional scene. I really, really enjoyed it. Of a father protecting his son right before the bomb drops. And the father says to the son, leave the world just a little bit better than you found it.
Yeah.
Whatever other problems the Fallout series has, and there are quite a few, that scene really resonated with me in a good way.
Yeah, that's a really simple, good way to live. Leave the world better off.
Yeah. Sazed goes on to explain that it's because of this nihilism he's chosen not to wear his metal mines anymore. And Spook again affirms, yeah, that makes sense, which I think does more good for Sazed than anything else has so far, even if it's affirming the negative belief.
Yeah.
Then Spook says he would have thought it would be because of Tindwell. And I have to say, on my first read through, I imagined you, Kitty, getting really, really angry. Because.
Yes, because it's completely the other way around. Yes.
Well, no, because of the specific wording of it. Spook says, I'd have guessed it was because of her. What do you mean? Your woman? The phrase your woman is what I imagined.
Oh, no. I like being someone's woman. And that's not someone, but like I enjoy being a very important possession of someone else. Sorry, I'm not a traditional I'm not a feminist in that way. I'm like I like being Gordon's woman, and I like having Gordon as my man. Like that's my man, and I'm his woman.
Nice.
'Cause I am your lady.
But didn't you go on an angry tangent in the past when Spook referred to someone as a woman?
I think maybe it might have been in a phrase of, hey, it's keep your woman in line kind of thing. That sort of thing is not. So, yeah, it depends on the tone.
Sure.
Your woman in this, maybe it's I just read it more calmly because it was like, she belongs to you and you belong to her. Love, 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 romance.
Sure.
Whereas rein in your woman, even protect your woman, and no, protect your woman I would be okay with. Just tell me the exact phrase. Would be interesting to figure out why I was so irritated with it and not irritated with this one. It could just be my mood at the time.
That as well.
Woman.
Anyway, Spook says that he'd have guessed that Sazed's positions now might have been because it's what Tindwell might have wanted, because that's what she might have believed. And Sazed felt a chill. Spook affirms his belief that the people of the city who believe in Kelsier know more than Sazed thinks they do, because Kelsier is looking over them. He is a man of conviction and faith now.
Yeah, but because he gets to be the chosen one.
Yeah. Sazed goes on to ruminate about this new lens from which to view his own behavior. Not so much his belief yet, but the behavior.
Mm-hmm.
He ruminates on their last days together and how, despite the fact that Tindwell didn't believe in the religions, she participated in their search because she wanted to spend time with him. I mean, I also think that there's, whether or not you believe in past religions or current religions, there is still academic merit to them.
Yes. Anyone with a curious mind would be interested in them. Doesn't mean again, this kind of understanding is not believing in it. Understanding is not suddenly, understanding is not believing. Understanding is not being a practicing person of religion. It's still fascinating and worth looking into. And I do believe that she was looking into it with Sazed because there were answers there. They were looking for answers about the Well of Ascension and the deepness and all of that. She was looking, that was where the answer is. It's not that it was, look, I know it was to spend time with him, but she did believe that something, or she wanted to figure out that something, it wasn't just, she seemed to want to find the answer that actually, yes, all that is happening isn't some big crazy prophecy. She would rather prove that it's a negative, prove the negative. But I don't think, as much as I agree she wanted to spend time with Sazed, it's not the whole reason she was doing that. She was genuinely interested.
Yeah.
Agreed. I think he's viewing things very simplistically.
Yeah.
in his current state.
Agreed. And Sazed continues to think about his own actions, accepting his position in Elend's empire, and so on, as trying to do what Tindwyl might have done, and keeping her alive in that way. It's very sweet, and he is surprised and impressed that it was Spook who pointed out this new lens to him.
Yeah, but that's not what Spook was about. He's just said something and just was by mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Because Spook is yeah. It just he by accident got it right.
Yep.
All good.
And so he goes back to looking at his religions. End chapter.
End chapter.
Good chapter. I mean, except for a few nitpicks.
Irritated us a little, but I think it's all good.
Yeah. Anything else to say, Kitty?
Like the video.
If you like. Thank you all for tuning in. Have a great rest of your day. Subscribe to That Don't Kita if you get a chance, because she's got a great channel.
Subscribe to this channel, because you know it's great. It
would be greatly appreciated. And we'll see you next time. Okay, thanks, bye.
Okay, thanks, bye.